Here's a scenario that plays out in community associations more often than boards realize. A resident calls to say they paid their assessment, but the ledger still shows a balance due. Maybe there's a late fee attached now. Maybe it's gone to collections, and the resident is furious. What happens in the next 48 hours will either protect your community or quietly expose it to serious liability. Most people assume a ledger dispute is simple. Find the payment, fix the entry, move on. What they don't realize that the moment you touch a ledger to correct an error, you've entered territory that requires formal documentation, a defined protocol, and in many cases, board authorization. Do it wrong, and you've created a discrepancy in your association's financial record that can surface later during an audit, during a lender questionnaire review, or during a legal proceeding. That's not a billing hiccup. That's a governance problem. Let's talk about what a proper ledger dispute process actually involves. When a resident claims they paid and the ledger doesn't reflect it, the first step isn't to fix anything. It's to reconstruct the complete transaction history. That means pulling bank records, payment processor logs, check images if applicable, and deposit confirmations, and cross-referencing them against the ledger entry by entry. In communities with combined unit ledgers where name changes haven't been properly recorded, a payment can be posted and simply not visible to the resident who made it. Finding that requires forensic level attention to how entries were originally made. Most boards don't have access to that level of detail, and many management companies don't run this process systematically either. If a late fee or collection cost was assessed as a result of a dispute, reversing it isn't as simple as deleting a line item. A formal fee reversal requires documentation of why the fee was assessed, documentation of why it's being reversed, and in many associations, written board authorization before the reversal is processed. Without that chain of documentation, the reversal creates an unexplained credit on the books, and that will raise questions during your next audit. A management company that reverses fees casually without formal protocol is a liability risk for your association, not a convenience. The resident in a ledger dispute isn't just frustrated about money. They're frustrated because they feel like no one's listening and no one's accountable. The way a management company communicates during a dispute, how quickly they respond, whether they acknowledge the issue in writing, and whether they keep the board informed directly affects whether that dispute stays contained or becomes a board meeting grievance. Poor communication during a dispute is one of the most common sources of community conflict that never should have escalated. Here's what this tells us. A ledger dispute is never an accounting correction. It's a test of whether your management infrastructure, your documentation, your protocols, your communication systems can hold up under pressure. If you're a board member wondering whether your current management company has the systems to handle this properly, that's exactly the right question to be asking. At ManageMax, we know that effective community management is built on transparency and systematic excellence. We provide full-service HOA and condominium management across Southeast Michigan, handling everything from accurate financial reporting to proactive maintenance. Our goal is to reduce the burden on your board while protecting your property values. If you're looking for a partner who values accountability as much as you do, visit us at ManageMaxProperties.com. Let's build a stronger community together.